Scott! Harvey? Wrong, Batman. I'm not Harvey. I'm evil incarnate. I'm Two-Face!
Hi, I'm Bobby, and this is one of the hardest videos I've ever made. I can't get this thing to stand up. There. Holy Pinocchio. The real reason is because my Batman, Adam West, has passed away. I'm both happy and sad to say, before he died, he gave us one more Batman performance. So, holy Kleenex, let's take a look at this animated Batman movie, Batman vs. Two-Face. Fans of the 60s Batman were riding high. After years of having nothing because of a conflict between Fox and Warner Brothers, we now had 60s Batman merchandise, we had the Blu-rays, and in honor of the show's 50th anniversary, we had a new animated Batman movie, Return of the Caped Crusader, which featured the original TV actors Adam West, Burt Ward, and Julie Newmar. As if things could not get any better, it was announced that there'd be a sequel that would feature Star Trek's William Shanter as Two-Face. The Batman TV show featured most of the comic book villains, from the main ones like the Joker and the Penguin, to the lesser-known ones like the Mad Hatter and Clock King. But they never did a Two-Face episode. Sounds like a riddle. Early on in the series, the accomplished science fiction writer Harlan Ellison approached Batman producer Bill Dozier about doing a Two-Face episode, and Dozier was on board. It was going to be called The Two-Way Crimes of Two-Face, and it was going to feature Clint Eastwood, who was actually a good friend of Adam West, as Two-Face. Unfortunately, they decided that the makeup would be too scary for the younger kids in the audience, and the idea was abandoned. For those interested in the story, though, the Batman 66 comics did a comic book adaptation based on the original episode outline. So this was an especially neat villain choice. Fans could hardly wait, and Adam West and Burt Ward seemed just as excited as the fans. But on June 9th, 2017, tragedy struck. Our beloved Batman, Adam West, passed away after a short battle with leukemia. Even though he was 88, it was unbelievable. Even Burt Ward said they were just having breakfast at a convention a few weeks ago and he seemed fine. Fans everywhere mourned his loss, and in Los Angeles, they even lit the bat signal in honor of his memory. As the tears began to dry up, fans began to wonder whatever happened to that William Shanter Batman movie. And we got the good news that Adam West had finished his voice recording, so all systems were still go. Professor Hugo Strange has developed the evil extractor that removes the evil from a person's personality. But the villains decide to overload the machine, and it explodes. District Attorney and friend of millionaire Bruce Wayne, Harvey Dent, is burned during the explosion and turns into Two-Face. Two-Face has a split personality. One side is the good Harvey Dent, and the other is the evil Two-Face. And he flips his coin to decide if he should perform the good or evil action. Batman and Robin are out to stop Two-Face, but along the way, they also have dealings with King Tut, Bookworm, and the criminal love of Batman's life, Catwoman. When I first saw Batman Return of the Caped Crusader, I was so giddy and excited. It was like a love letter to the TV show, and I talked about it to every person that I met. Hi, I'm George. Nice to meet you. Have you seen Batman Return of the Caped Crusader? And then when I saw Batman vs. Two-Face for the first time, I was a little disappointed, because I didn't feel that same level of excitement. But when I watched it again, I was able to appreciate it for what it is, a brand new episode of the first season. All 3 seasons of Batman have a great sense of humor. But during the first season, the emphasis was more on the drama and the adventure. It's the strongest season of the series, and since they were supposed to have done Two-Face in the first season anyway, this was the style that producer James Tucker wanted for Batman vs. Two-Face. Indeed, it does have a great dramatic story, with some twists and turns, and even some mystery. It goes with more of a pulpy noir style than the series ever did, much like the comics of the 40s, but drawing heavy inspiration from the comics was one of the hallmarks of the first season. Even the Two-Face design is based on the early comic book design of the character.
But the masked manhunter is no fool. Before long, he'll be on to us.
By the time Batman discovers our secret, I will know his. Once that happens, the dynamic duo will be zilch zeros.
The early episodes also went more all out with the villain's motif. The first Penguin, quack quack, outing was all about umbrellas. The first Catwoman episode was a cat and mouse game. And this movie is all about the duality motif. Even the side villains that they chose, King Tut and Bookworm, along with being from the first season, have a duality about them. King Tut has a split personality, one side being the criminal, the other being the mild-mannered professor, and the Bookworm is sometimes calm and bookish, and other times completely enraged. Batman as a series had a lot of limits. You could only do one villain. They couldn't be too scary. You have to use bright colors. And you can't be too expensive. So this isn't a carbon copy of a first season episode. They bring in other comic book villains like Dr. Hugo Strange, and they make it more elaborate. It's what they might have done if those limits had not been in place. Along with the style making the movie groovy, so do the actors. Just like in Return of the Caped Crusader, the 3 original TV cast members are back. Julie Newmar is the sultry, wily, and unpredictable Catwoman. The 72-year-old Burt Ward, who still has this boyish energy and naivete. And the late great Adam West as the heroic, ever-trusting, and sometimes ridiculous Batman. They're as great as they were 50 years ago. But it's not the same old thing, because each one has something new to play. Robin, who's always, "Gee, Batman, you're right," is now disagreeing with him and branching out a little on his own. Batman, who always trusts everyone, is now in a position where that's not a good idea. And his relationship with Catwoman has developed. They both love each other, but Catwoman still wants to be a criminal. And speaking of words, Catwoman, I brought my handy copy of the complete works of Elizabeth Barrett Browning. After all, poetry opens both the mind and the heart. I'm more interested in your opening these bars. And open they will, after only 27 more informative months. No one could deliver that line like Adam West. Now don't space out on me just yet, because I still have to talk about William Shatner as Two-Face. The show always had big stars as the villains, and along with Adam West, William Shatner as Captain Kirk on Star Trek is one of the biggest pop culture icons of the 60s. Before their Batman and Star Trek days, the two men had appeared together in a pilot called Alexander the Great, but this is their first time together ever since. It's stunt casting at its finest, but William Shatner actually gives a great performance. William Shatner is 86, but he sounds just like he did in the 1960s. As Harvey Dent, he does those trademark Shatner pauses. He has some funny moments, but he also brings a tortured and guilt-ridden element to his character, sometimes in very subtle ways, like when he's acting as the attorney during King Tut's trial. Isn't it true that without your expertise in Egyptology, King Tut couldn't commit his crimes? Well, I suppose that's true, therefore making you the real mastermind behind his schemes. On the surface, it may be about King Tut, but it's really about himself. But when he's in Two-Face mode, he gives a completely different performance and is genuinely threatening. They also make it more about the mental scars than the physical ones. The final actor, who I think gives a royal performance, is Batman fan Wally Wignert as King Tut. For characters like the Joker and the Riddler, if the new voice actor doesn't exactly sound like the original TV actor, it's still okay because the characters are strong on their own. But what made King Tut great was Victor Buono's performance, and Wally Wignert absolutely captures it and does it perfectly.
I always knew you'd make an ass of yourself, fat boob.
Along with loving the actors, I'm just batty over the film's referential humor. The original TV show always had crazy referential humor.
And because this movie is a gift for the fans, it really works well here.
At one point, Batman slaps Robin in homage to the popular meme. They reused the footage of Batman and Robin going down the bat poles and racing out of the Batcave from the last film, just like how they would always reuse that footage on the TV show. Also, the Catwoman from the Batman movie, Lee Merriweather, has a small role. Her character is named Lucille Diamond, which is a reference to William Shatner's rather infamous cover version of the Beatles song Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds.
Picture yourself in a boat on a river with tangerine trees and marmalade skies. Somebody calls you. You answer quite slowly. A girl with kaleidoscope eyes. That type of obscure reference is exactly what they used to do on the TV show.
Also, in my absolute favorite scene, Catwoman, played by Julie Newmar, switches outfits with Lucille so she can escape prison, leaving Lucille in Catwoman's catsuit. So in a roundabout way, Lee Merriweather also gets to be Catwoman again.
And although not a humorous nod, there's also a very nice dedication to Adam West at the end, and I think it's especially well done.
By most accounts, if Adam had lived, we would have been treated to a new series of Adam West Batman movies, but with his passing, this seems to be the end. However, in an interview, Burt Ward did mention that this might not be the last Adam West Batman movie. Could he have done more voice recording? We'll have to find out tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Some Batman actors have made their mark being dark and brooding, but Adam West did it with his sense of humor, his acting talent, and a dash of magic. As adults we can see it's just a man in tights, but our inner child knows better. It's the man who taught us right from wrong. The good will always triumph. He's our Caped Crusader. He's our Batman.
I feel like I took a sad pill thinking about what might have been, but judging the movie on its own, as Vincent Price would say, I think it's excellent. It's a great visit into that classic TV show, and a really well done interpretation of Two-Face. So I give it 4 dramatic pauses out of 4. Thank you for watching Dusty Old Movies, and always remember the bright night.